So this past weekend I worked at the Deerfield Fair. So if you don't know, the Deerfield Fair is a huge fair in New Hampshire, and every year that I've had this gift shop, I go down and I have this space inside a concession building where I can set up and sell the inventory from my store all weekend. And the Deerfield Fair is crazy hours. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And for 3 of those days, it's 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And then on Sunday, it's 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. So it's a lot of hours, and they're really strict about it, about opening right on time, leaving on time, and just being at your booth. And I did the whole weekend basically by myself. This year was actually a lot easier because I was able to bring my camper and sleep on the fairgrounds instead of doing the hour commute morning and night. So I feel like I got a lot better sleep. Also, my husband and daughter visited on Friday night, slept over in the camper with me, and then stayed all day Saturday until around like 4 p.m. So that's the only help I had. And then obviously I had help setting up. My husband and my friends all came down Wednesday before the fair to set up for me. And then my dad came the Monday after it closed, and we put everything in his truck. Usually I try to get footage at this fair, but I had a lot on my plate already. And I even got a migraine the first day on Thursday because I feel like I might have been a little too stressed out. So didn't get any filming done, but I do have my sales report, and I want to go over my sales, what sold, what didn't sold, what I did right, what I did wrong, because I really don't think this was the best year for me. So for context, I want to share exactly what I brought to the fair so you can understand my sales a little better. So I had a spinny display rack of puzzles. I had a bookcase that was full of children's books. I had a spinny rack of decals and stickers that I had designed, and a big rack of earrings that I made. I had 2 clothing racks with clothes all hung up on them. One rack had these black New Hampshire hoodies. The other had Nahamsha hoodies, and it also had my new neon orange sport Nahamsha long sleeves. I can show that because I can reach it from where I'm sitting. And then I had 2 shelving units. One unit had all Nahamsha t-shirts and long sleeves, and then the other had all hats, which were mostly Nahamsha hats, but some other like New Hampshire themed ones like Live Free or Die, 603, and some funny ones. So the fair went 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. My busiest day actually ended up being Friday, and then the next busiest was Saturday, and then Sunday, and then Thursday. I really expected my busiest day to be Saturday, but I was running out of things to sell. So I had this big spike on Friday, and then it just kind of went down for the rest of the weekend, which was a little sad. All my sales went through my iPad, so I have a list of everything that's sold in like the different categories right here. So on Thursday, my biggest seller were hoodies, and I think that's because one man bought 4 hoodies, and the hoodies were the most expensive thing I was selling. Some were $45, some were $55. So this guy bought 4 of them for his family in Florida. And that sale really helped me for the day because other than that, I was just selling little things here and there. So my biggest category was hoodies, and then second place was books, and then t-shirts, then puzzles, then decals. Friday was so good. My biggest category on Friday were books. I sold 63 books, which ended up being almost half of my total sales for the day. So all the books I had were children's books, and they were all about New Hampshire. So there were some like Goodnight New Hampshire books, but then most of them were about the holidays. So Halloween and Christmas. So Santa's coming to New Hampshire, Trick or Treat in New Hampshire. And like in all of these children's books referenced specific spots in New Hampshire. So I think people thought that was really cool to have a cool local book that they can read their kids and recognize different spots and learn about the state. So these books did so well. Actually, by the end of Friday, I had sold 62% of the books that I had brought to the fair. which is not great because Saturday and Sunday are supposed to be the biggest days of the fair, and I was running out of books. So on Friday, books were obviously my number one bestseller, but number two were earrings. So I had brought a whole rack of these handmade earrings that I started making. This was my first time bringing earrings to a fair, and I was actually able to sit there all day and just keep making the earrings. So it gave me something to do, and people were buying them, which was really cool. And they were fun earrings, a lot of like Christmas themed ones, a lot of like animal themed ones. People kept buying earrings with little cow charms on them. So that was really fun, and selling a pair of earrings that I made me feel so much better than selling a book that someone else wrote. It was just cool to do that. My third bestseller on Friday were puzzles, and then long sleeve Nahamsha shirts, and then hats. Now Saturday is supposed to be obviously the biggest day of the fair. Like, that's when everyone has the day off. All the families come, they spend all day. Like, you know, Saturdays are busy. But I was running out of stuff to sell. So like Friday I sold 60 something books. Saturday I only sold 35. And by the end of Saturday, I think I was only left with maybe 5 books. And the 5 books that I had left weren't even about New Hampshire. I think they were all titled Goodnight Tractor. My second bestseller of Saturday were decals, which is cool because I do design and make the decals myself. So it was cool that people were buying them. But decals, I was selling them 2 for $5. So not a huge moneymaker for me. Third bestseller on Saturday were t-shirts. Number 4 was jewelry. I was also running out of good jewelry to sell. I was running out of charms, and my display was looking a little bare by the end of Saturday. And then my 5th bestseller were puzzles. Going on through the weekend, I didn't really have high hopes for Sunday because I knew the things that people were buying were running out. My mom actually showed up early on Sunday with a whole wagon full of stuff that she took from her store to bring to my booth at Deerfield to just kind of make it look more full. And it helped. I sold some of the stuff that she brought me, but yeah, besides Thursday, Sunday was my slowest day. The thing that I was not running out of were puzzles. I had so many extra puzzles, so puzzles ended up being my bestseller on Sunday just because that's what I had the most of. Number 2 were hats, number 3 t-shirts, number 4 decals, and number 5 jewelry. So books on Sunday didn't even make the top 5. Books were my 7th bestseller because I only sold 3. I hope you found some of that interesting. I know that's a lot of numbers, but I spent the entire weekend just looking at my iPad, figuring out what sold, what didn't sell, and how much I need to order for next time. Because from Deerfield Fair, I have one weekend off, and then the next weekend, I do it all over again at the Sandwich Fair. So all weekend, I was taking notes in my iPad of what exactly I need to bring to Sandwich Fair so I don't run into this problem of running out of things. So while I was sitting at the Deerfield Fair, I was ordering stuff. I bought triple the amount of books for the Sandwich Fair. And I bought so much jewelry making supplies. I also noticed at the Deerfield Fair, my Nahamsha stuff wasn't doing that well. So my Nahamsha t-shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, I only sold a handful of hoodies, so I don't think it's worth taking up a whole clothing rack just for them. So I am pivoting a little bit, and I think at the Sandwich Fair, I'm going to take less Nahamsha stuff and more of the funny t-shirts that do really well in my shop. So Old Men Rock, Wicked Smart. I think I'm going to do more of those type of t-shirts instead of Nahamsha. But I will have a little section of Nahamsha just because that's my brand. This was a very different type of video for me to make, very sit down, chatty. As you can see, I'm still on crutches, so I can't really move around my store and do as much as I usually do, but I'm a very businessy and numbers type of person, so maybe if there's people watching that are kind of like me, kind of find stuff like this interesting. So that's it. The store hasn't even opened yet. The store opens in 30 minutes, but I'm still not supposed to drive, so I was dropped off at work pretty early today, so thought I'd make this video. So I'll keep you updated on this week that I have left leading up to the sandwich fair, and if what I learned at the Deerfield Fair is going to help me at sandwich. So hopefully my numbers are better at the sandwich fair. Don't get me wrong, I was profitable at Deerfield because it costs a lot of money to be there. I had to pay for my booth. I had to pay, obviously, for all the inventory that I brought. I had to pay for a campsite to leave my camper there for 5 nights. I paid my friends. Like, I bought them dinner for helping me set up. I had to buy, a lot of stuff, gas to and from there to set up and break down. So my expenses for the weekend are really high, but I'm glad that my sales were higher and it was worth it in the end. But if I'm being honest, sales weren't nearly as good as I wanted them to be. So I'm taking everything I learned at this last fair. I'm going to bring it over to my next fair, and I really hope sandwich is better for me, and I will definitely let you know if that's the case.